my job is to give you the test. See if you're paying attention. No, actually, my job is very easy because Dr. Mead and Jeff did such a fabulous job of presenting the facts. My question to you is, are you as angry about all of this as I am? Yes. Welcome to my world. I decided to join the legislature. Well, actually, I was dragged in, kicking and fighting to not come in. But I was asked to join the legislature because of my passion about public education. I was the mother of an only child who put her on the bus in the morning for kindergarten with grandmas and aunties and pictures and flowers, jumped in my car and drove to the school so that I could be one of the mamas there at the front door when the bus arrived to help them get to their classroom. And I followed her through elementary school. I was president of a couple of her PTAs, and so I was there in her middle school years. And about her freshman year, she turned around and she said, "Really, Mom, this has got to stop." At the time, I was part of our school board's legislative committee, and we had an annual town meeting where we invited all the legislators who were part of the Middleton Cross Plains School District to come. And we sort of laid out our hopes and questions to them and made them answer. At the time, the gentleman who was representing me was supporting the 4th grade, 8th grade, and high school high-stakes one-day graduation test, which if you failed, you didn't go to 5th grade, you didn't start high school, and your diploma wasn't signed. And I thought, okay, that's it. I have been in school enough to know that the problems that schools are experiencing are because of those people under the dome. So you can stand outside and throw rocks at the building and carry signs and all that sort of thing, but the real change comes from within, and so that's where I wanted to be. I hate to tell you, but today I'm about as important as the chair I sit on, because there are 36 Democrats in that building, in my house in the Assembly, and 63 Republicans. They can do business without any of us in the room. They have quorum. So that makes me a little annoyed, but I'm a stubborn old Norwegian, and I don't give up. So I decided my job has become very easy. I vote no, and I complain. I shine lights on what they're doing. I go to places like this, and I hope to stir up folks like you, because what I will tell you is what I have been telling everybody for the last couple of years. Change is not going to happen because of the Democrats in the Assembly. There aren't enough of us. It's going to happen because you are pissed off, and you're going to go to the ballot box. And this is where I get to be political, and they can't. You're going to vote for different people. Until that happens, expect more of this. The things that you heard from them about caps on attendance and eligibility caps for vouchers and all those things, every year they jump up a little higher, leaving publics behind. And if you're willing to let your community school, your children's education, circle the drain and disappear, then stay away and don't vote. If this matters to you, then stop being polite. I remember when I was growing up, my grandmother was a teacher, my grandfather was mayor of our little town, and we were always told, you don't talk about religion, you don't talk about money, you don't talk about sex, and you don't talk politics. Well, stop being polite. Start talking about politics. At the dinner table, across the fence with your neighbors, wherever you go, until people wake up and realize who is doing this to your public schools, nothing is going to change. It's going to get worse. So that's the political part of what I get to say. They can't. In the Assembly, I had the privilege of sitting on the Corrections Committee. I was ranking member one time. I'm still on Corrections Committee today. And there is a very unique thing about being on Education Committee and on Corrections Committee. And this is it. In Wisconsin, we spend about $33,000 a year to house a single prisoner. Just behind the bars, bad guys. I've visited almost every prison in Wisconsin, and they're not good places. $33,000. Juveniles are $108,000 a year. And I'm not counting parole and probation, which are also very expensive. money is being spent on a group of people, 70% of whom do not have a high school diploma. I'm no rocket scientist, but I know that the money we're spending on this end, we wouldn't have to be spending if we put it on the other end and made sure that the kids who were coming out of our schools were ready to do something besides crime. Or if we could put some of that money towards programming, so that they could come out as better citizens instead of better criminals. And I'm going to be really, really short because we're already over time. So I'm going to wait for questions, and I don't really want to take up a whole lot more of your time, except to tell you, this isn't a Wisconsin problem. You've heard of ALEC?
Yeah.
There is a national effort, I believe, to starve public education, then to turn around and blame it for failure, and then have good reason to call in the profiteers so they can turn your public education over to the profit makers. And it makes me sick. I fight it every single day that I'm down there, along with those other Democrats who sit in the other 35 seats in the Assembly and the Senate. But that's the reality of the situation. So the best I can do is try to stir up folks like you and make changes from the ballot box. Other than that, I could take a lot more time to talk to you, but many of you have already seen my presentation. I recognize so many faces in this audience, so I would be just sort of saying the same thing that you already heard me say. And they have the facts. What they have told you is right on. So I'm not going to take any more time. I will wait for your questions, and because we're already over time, I'm going to let Luke Francois take the rest of the time, and then maybe there will be questions later. I don't know, but I couldn't believe we need to keep a commitment of some sort to let you out of here when we said we would. So thank you.